Whether you're already using video or you haven't even started yet, this is the episode for you. We're talking with Alec Hanson from LoanDepot, who's become a video master in like 6 short months. And he's going to tell you what he's done, how he's done it, and if any of you have some objection or fear that's preventing you from doing more video, this is the episode for you.
The Massive Agent Podcast. With lead generation tips and strategies to get you more leads and sell more homes.
I love to buy houses. I like to sell houses.
It takes brass balls to sell real estate.
Wait a minute.
The leads are weak. You're weak.
I've had better.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Here's your host, Dustin Brohm.
What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 136 of the Massive Agent Podcast. I am your host, Dustin Brohm. Welcome to the show. If you are new to the show, thank you for joining. Thank you for finding us. Hopefully, you'll stick with us because for those who have been listening for a while, you've just come to expect this is an audio train wreck. But hopefully, this audio train wreck can still deliver the goods and give you some ideas, give you some strategies that'll help you to sell more homes and grow your real estate business. Guys, we live in such amazing times, despite all the crazy bullshit happening and 2020 being insane, absolutely insane. We still live in such an amazing country, in such an amazing period of time. There's so many opportunities, and this industry that we've chosen to work in gives us so many different options for building wealth, for growing a business, for increasing our quality of life, and making a great living. If you are only focused on selling homes as a solo agent, one after another, and that's literally all you plan on doing for income, you're leaving so much money on the table, and I'm just telling you, you have your own job. You have your own job. If you stop doing those activities, meeting with buyers, meeting with sellers, making offers, and earning a commission from every closing, if that's literally all you do, which the vast majority of you, that's what you do. That's what I've done for most of my career. There's so much danger in that. And so hopefully this podcast in general and aspects of this particular episode will give you some ideas of how you can diversify where your income comes from, give you some other ideas and other options that you can do right alongside what you're currently doing to sell homes, different ways to grow other income streams. Like, guys, if you do the stuff that we talk about in this episode with creating video and you become a media company, there's other income streams there. Guys, you can start having sponsors, you can have advertisers, you can have affiliate marketing income, you can become a local celebrity in your town and start getting paid for appearances at different events and stuff. There's so many things you can do aside from just commission. So if you are new to this show and this is your first episode, I hope that you will go back to some of our previous episodes. I just want you to expand your mind because I've never seen an industry, and I don't believe that there's an industry that has more opportunity available to agents within it than ours. Okay, and not even agents. You don't even need to be an agent in the real estate space to grow a massive billion-dollar business. You really don't. As an investor, an unlicensed investor, you could build a billion-dollar business and everything in between. So you guys are in the right place. So welcome to the Massive Agent Podcast. If you're new, my name is Dustin Brohm, your host. I'm an agent in Salt Lake City, Utah. I've been an agent for almost 10 years now. I'm the co-founder of the Industry Syndicate Real Estate's podcast network, the first and only major podcast network for the real estate industry. I'm a national speaker at conferences and events for mortgage companies and brokerages and real estate conferences, at least when they were happening, and they will again. But on all things real estate marketing, podcasting, social media, lead generation. I'm a columnist for Housing Wire and founder of the Massive Agent Society, our one agent per market lead generation training and support program. You can find out if your market is available and claim it for yourself exclusively, and not like Zillow, where they're like, oh, you exclusively own this zip code. And so do 8 other agents. Well, exclusive. That word does not mean what you think it means, Zillow. We're on to you. well, we've been on to you for quite a long time, but you can exclusively claim your market and be the only agent in your market as part of our lead gen program. And the whole goal is to, on the other side, spit you out as a Facebook ads / lead generation master. So you don't need anyone else. You don't need Zillow or your broker or anyone else. Go check it out at massiveagentsociety.com. And I highly recommend you guys claim your market if it's available, and jump in, copy and paste our ads, get some leads coming in, follow our examples for the drip campaigns and the follow-up system and the tools to use to do it. We have it all. Because if you guys don't know yet, and I think most of you do, but I hope this really gets burned into your brains, when you get a lead online, that's just the start. Okay, that's not the goal. The goal is not getting a lead. The goal is to close a transaction and to do it in a way that they want to refer you to others. So the lifetime value of the customer or of the client, that's the goal, all right, is turning one closing into 10. That's the goal. But it starts with a lead. The lead gives you a chance to have a conversation with people. And if you don't know how to follow up, if you don't know how to respond to your leads the right way, if you don't follow up the right way for years, then you're wasting money. You have money falling through the cracks, and you're underserving clients. You're underserving those leads, those people. And consumers are not having a great experience if you don't have a great system. So we've got it all for you. You can copy and paste it, set it up. We'll help you do it. Go check it out, massiveagentsociety.com. All right, today we have Alec Hanson. He is a video master, and what I love about his videos is they're not so over the top with their editing. You'll come to find out there's a very big difference between a YouTube strategy, which requires more work, more thought, extremely valuable, extremely powerful for sure, and it's something that I am working towards doing myself, is a real legit YouTube strategy. But it's not either you do no video or you are a YouTuber. Okay, you can do some short 90-second videos you record on your phone and put them up on all the different social platforms and have a ton of traction and start getting business. And Alec has done such a great job just being himself, and he's doing it better or just as well as anyone out there. He really is. So I'm stoked to hear from Alec Hanson today. He's a senior vice president of production at LoanDepot, and so he comes from the mortgage side of the industry, works with a lot of top agents, and has great perspective. But he himself started doing video, and as he'll describe his 100 videos in 100 days, he started doing that, and it's changed everything for him. Like, so many doors have opened just since he did that, and I believe that was in December of 2019. And so, we're three quarters away from that, and his life has changed. His career has changed for the better. So let's get into the interview with Alec Hanson from LoanDepot. If you guys have any limiting beliefs as far as doing video, of why you can't do it, or it's too expensive, it's too hard, you're too nervous, you don't want to feel stupid, you don't want to be judged, or someone else in your market's already doing it well, all that stuff, this is the episode for you. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? I'm here with Alec Hanson, Senior VP of Production at LoanDepot and a video marketing master. How are you doing, Alec? Welcome to the Massive Agent Podcast.
Hey, Dustin, dude. I'm so stoked, dude. Thanks for having me on to chat about video.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. You do it so, you do video so well and authentically. And I know that, you're kind of laughing right now because you're like, I just talk in front of the camera, right? That's how I feel about podcasting. And, every time I do video, I just do it, but it works so well. And I think that's why it works so well. You just do such a great job with your video content, and it's because you don't overdo things. And so I thought you'd be a great person to speak on the subject. Yeah. And from the outside looking in, even though you're with LoanDepot, you're on the mortgage side of the industry, but same people, just different product.
Yeah, same coin. Yeah. Same side.
Exactly. Two sides of the same coin. From the outside looking in, since you started doing video, a lot's changed for you. It seems like you've really made a name for yourself or grown a personal brand because of just doing some videos. Yeah. So first off, how did you get here? Have you always been a video guy? Like, have you been doing videos for the last decade? How did you get to this point, my friend?
Dude, it's funny. It's like, have any of us been video people until COVID forced us into like total like Zoom land?
Good point. Yeah, the
but
back-to-back Zoom meetings every damn day. No.
What's crazy was I saw a ton of people putting out really great content, and you included. Like, I've been like watching your stuff for a long time, and I've been sitting on the sidelines coaching my team, being like, guys, this is the future. Like, building influence, building community, being in the conversation, being in the digital game. Like, this is the future, because you have to know my past a little bit. Like, I think I was like the last loan officer trained in like 2003. And I was told every single day to leave my office and come back with 8 business cards from realtors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was, and by the way, in 2003, there was a boom happening in like we're having now, but that's what I was trained to do. And so, fast forward now, this is the medium. And COVID exposed it. Like, it was already happening. An internet-based company is the number 1 lender in the country. Like, it was already happening.
Right.
And so I was pushing my people. And then I turned around and realized that I was doing none of the actual work I was telling them to go do. I'm like, go be on video, go do this. And I'm looking like, why am I not doing it myself? And I had this like hypocritical moment of like, I need to play. And that was when I did my 100 videos in 100 days, the stupidest challenge of all time. But that's what really kickstarted this whole thing.
That's awesome. I mean, that was within the last 12 months, wasn't it?
You know what? 100 days, it goes by faster than you think. So it was last year.
Okay.
And it kind of ended in December last year.
Okay.
And then when it ended, it kickstarted, the podcast and all the video series I'm doing now, and all that stuff kind of grew out of that like experiment. But yeah,
right.
it was the tail end of last year, last 100 days of last year, 2019.
So first off, congratulations for being one of those few leaders in our industry that actually does what they preach. So congratulations for that.
Yay.
That is rare. It's unbelievable how rare that is. But when you started doing that, when you were, I mean, how did that even happen? Were you just like sitting there or like walking the dog one day and you're like, I'm going to just do some video? Or was it like someone told you need to? Like, how did you arrive at the decision to actually do it?
I guess I hate being like, I'm very competitive by nature. And I like to win. And, I did all the sports growing up and all that stuff. And looking at our competitive landscape, I saw a lot of people leaning into this new skill set. I'm a big fan and follower of Garyvee. And so I heard all his stuff pouring into my brain. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, I guess the momentum just built behind me, where I was like, the pressure to like get in the game was so big. And then I just realized, I'm like, why am I not playing the game? Like, I'm just consuming, I'm listening, and I'm not playing. And so the pressure just hit a breaking point for me. And I was like, I got to go in. I got to go all in.
That's cool. That's similar to how I started my podcast, actually. It wasn't, even though there was one pivotal moment on New Year's Day evening when I was walking the dog, listening to Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income. But it wasn't like a new idea at that point. It wasn't like, ooh, a podcast. That sounds like a good idea. It was, I've been waiting too damn long. I've been wanting to do this forever. Now I'm going to go do it tonight.
Right now.
and so I think people just need to arrive there on their own, whatever the hell the urging is, whatever prompts them to do it. The important thing is that they actually do and not use the excuse of time. Because I imagine you're a busy guy.
Dude, I mean, that's everybody's excuse right now is I don't have time. And by the way, there's always an excuse, isn't there? Like, whether it's, if you're not busy, you have another excuse. So right. It just really comes down to, do you see the world like we see it, like enough that you get off your ass and do something about it?
Right.
And there's a lot of people that are going to make every excuse in the book except for diving in the pool.
Yep. Most, actually. And
most.
It's sad. So, okay, when you decided I'm going to start doing video, what was the hardest thing for you to start out? Was it technology? Like, was it equipment? Was it content?
Yes, right. You just get a little webcam for $60. I mean, all those excuses are garbage. In fact, I know a lot of people who have like really nice setups and yet still produce no content because it's not really the issue. Like you just got to dive in. I did it with the same webcam I'm using right now. I mean, I have a nice mic now, but I used a Yeti mic before because that's what somebody said you should do, right? All of human knowledge is on the internet. You just kind of do this and they tell you the stuff to do.
Yeah.
And so I just dove in. Actually, the hardest part was realizing that there's a musculature involved in like a new habit or a new thing, like doing video. And I realized like, oh, I have to like make time for this. And I remember I used to have to come in on weekends and film like 7 or 8 of the videos for next week so that, because my week was so jacked. Or like one night I had to come out to the garage and film a few videos and put it in Dropbox for that week because I have meetings and I have stuff to do. Like, but you just, when it's a priority, you find time, you make time.
That's right.
That's just the bottom line, right?
That's right. And it's because I get asked all the time, like from the outside looking in, it looks like you're doing so many different things. And I'm like, I am, but there's a lot of stuff that falls through the cracks. Like if you email me within the next 3 weeks, I'll eventually get back to you. I promise. But they're like, but you're always doing your podcast. I'm like, yeah, it's top priority. Mm-hmm. It's my top priority. And it's not that I've made time for one top priority. I've made time for a few. So if you make doing video, even if it's once a week, once a day, once every 2 weeks, as long as it's just a priority, you'll do it. So I imagine you had that shift in your own head.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the same thing in my mind. Like I have some non-negotiables, right? Like these things happen. This is part of like how I drive my business forward. And when I was in origination and doing loans, it was my time with realtors because they were my partners. That was where I got new business. That's where I built relationships. And so on the Tuesdays and Thursdays when there were open houses and broker preview, and then on Saturdays and Sundays, like that was a hard stop. I was out in the field. I was at open houses. I was with my agents. And I don't care what else was going on in life, like that happened. And so when you kind of pivot that and you realize like for the podcast you do, for the video work I do, like this is marketing, this is moving my business forward. It becomes a non-negotiable. Like how could I stop this? It would pull back my effectiveness in my role and my business growth. It's crazy.
Right.
And people forget like, oh, this is marketing. Like modern day marketing is creating human connection like you do through your podcast.
And it really does need to be a non-negotiable, but, and it's not just for, well, that's for many reasons, right? First off, it's just so it gets done because we're all busy. We all have shit that just pops up at the last minute all the time. Or these days you're on social media and you go down some freaking rabbit hole and you don't come out for 3.5 hours like what happened to me today, but I'm out. There's also so much magic in consistency.
Yeah.
Like this is episode 136. I've done it every single week for 136 straight weeks. Or, well, I launched with 3 episodes, so whatever that math is. And but there's magic in that. And I know some people that are like, well, I did a video for a few months, and then I stopped for a month, and I started again, and like I do think that's better than nothing. But if you want to win, like you're competitive, I'm competitive. If you want to do it, you want to kill it. Like you're trying to take over markets here. You're trying to like dominate. That can't happen if you are in and out, right?
No chance. And the same way with building relationships. Like if you're a great realtor working with a lender and they show up once a month and then they ghost you and they're gone, like you have no reliability in them, no relationship with them, you're not going to work with them.
Right.
It's just the same principles are true in these mediums as well. It's crazy. Like the universal truths are still here. But when you take advantage of them and when you show that consistency, I mean, man, it's so crazy what happens in terms of business growth and explosion. It's unbelievable.
Let's talk about some of that craziness. So you've been speaking at conferences. I imagine you've grown your team, grown your, all of that. What's happened to you that's been positive in a relatively short period of time since you started doing video?
The first thing that is just the internal result is what's really crazy is just you become a stronger person fundamentally from like, it's just like going to the gym every day. Like you become a stronger person fundamentally. So I'm way more comfortable with public speaking. I'm way more comfortable on camera and video. I have a much harder like inner drive now because I've stuck to something. I have pride in accomplishing stuff. So like I've been changed like internally from the process. But then the external stuff is crazy. I mean, I'm normally such a head down, focus on my team, focus on how to I'm just a head down kind of guy, typically, like do the work. And then as I've kind of stepped into this spot and put my face out a lot more, had a lot more conversation with a lot more people, it's radical how much more open the world feels. Like how many more relationships I've established. Like just the fact that we're hanging out right now. Like I would have never been here with you hanging out if I hadn't stepped into the space.
Right.
So I've met so many more people who have expanded my sphere of influence and who also have poured into me and, made my content better, gave me tips and tricks. I've learned from so many people. So it's just this really cool path to be on. But it's crazy in terms of like a lot of my job at LoanDepot is to just be a brand ambassador, right? Like showcase to other originators that we're a great place for them, kind of just showcase our platform and who we are as a culture. And so video, of course, gives you that megaphone. And so instead of having to like cold call people and do weird stuff like that and the old school recruiting style, like people already have exposure to what kind of we're doing. And my conversations and collaborations with other people in the industry have been insane. And of course, from that, opportunity comes. And if we're the right company and right culture for some people, they're like, well, tell me more. And like, there's no awkwardness. There's no weirdness. There's no like, it's unbelievable. Like the doors just open up, I think, for everybody. I mean, I got loan officers doing stuff like this and podcasts and their business is just opening up. And just customers are flowing in and it's just a whole new like era for their career.
And it doesn't matter what you do in our industry. The average solo agent, the average solo loan officer, the recruiter at a brokerage or at a mortgage company, it doesn't matter. Just a public speaker, a marketer.
I don't care if you like build pools for a living and you run like a pool company down the street in some city. Like this is the same doors are open for you. You get on and start showcasing pools and everyone's gonna be like, I want a pool.
Yes.
It's wild.
Would you, I just thought of this because it still blows my mind how from this podcast and some of the videos and stuff that I've done, and I haven't been nearly as consistent as you. You've been amazing with it. There's so many doors that have opened for me that I don't even know are open yet.
That's so cool. That's a good comment.
For sure. Because when you're out there, people see you on LinkedIn, they see you on Facebook, they hear you on podcast, whatever. There are people who are consuming your content and getting to know you and learning from you, and you don't know that it's happening. You don't even know that person yet.
I heard a stat. Go ahead. Finish.
No, please.
I heard a stat exactly what you're saying, Dustin, that like 80% of people on digital communities, so social platforms, YouTube, etc., they're straight consuming, not engaging, interacting.
Most. Yeah, for sure.
So if it's 80%, which is a huge number, is just kind of consuming but not interacting and engaging, you're 1,000% right. You have no idea the doors that are opening around you that haven't presented to you yet, but they're people that are just watching, consuming, engaging, not engaging, but just consuming. And it's right there. It's going to come around the corner and it's going to just be like, whoa, now I get to do this. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. So if you're an agent and you're doing videos focused on your local community, it's not just consumers that are seeing it, it's other agents. So you may all of a sudden go to request a showing on a listing and that agent knows who you are. They're like, oh, I saw your video about that burger place.
Exactly.
And it happens all the damn time.
All the time.
Or you go knock on somebody's door or cold call or send an email or do something to get new business. And they know who you are. They're like, oh, hey, I've been watching your videos and now here you are on my doorstep.
Yep.
And do you think you're more likely or less likely to get business if they already know who you are?
It's crazy.
It's so crazy. So I think it's safe to say, Alec, that we've convinced people video is probably a good idea. Hopefully.
If you're in sales though, like I beat this down. Like if you're in sales, if you sell something for a living or provide a service or whatever, like I love salespeople. If you're a salesperson, you have no choice. Like you either play this game or you got to go, you're going to get run over. Right. And I don't want to see you get run over. Like I don't want to see anybody like get crushed by this movement right now, but it's so self-evident to me that if you refuse to play this game and learn it and be competent in it, you're toast.
It's really simple too. Like you're 1000% right, but it's so simple. Like remove all the technology and all the social platforms and all that. If you don't have a reputation,
yes,
this would be true in the 1700s too. If you don't have any reputation, like good, bad, I'm not even talking about that. If nobody knows who you are, if you don't exist, then you don't exist.
Yep.
So how in a business setting can you expect to be around any longer when there's others who are growing their reputations, growing their brand, growing their presence online, which is insanely powerful
and free.
Yeah. And then if you do put some money behind it, like, good God, like, look out.
Yeah.
And you expect to somehow keep up or even maintain the business you have. I think that's so silly.
Yes.
It's just silly.
Silly.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope that there's literally zero people listening to this now that are like, I don't know about that video thing. But and honestly, I don't run into too many people that need to be convinced on it. What most people struggle with is the how, or they think that they're struggling with the how. So back to when you started.
Yep.
What were some of the first things you did? Can you remember your very first video as part of this?
Of course.
What was that like? Like, how did that play out? Where did you put it? What did you do with it? Let's start from there and what you learned from it.
Here's my amazing stand. This is my amazing.
Looks like
stand.
a golf club with like a hook on the end.
Here's the phone, and they was sitting at my desk, like right. And then like that was, and I had a lamp I got on Amazon for like $3, and I put it behind my computer, and I just talked into my phone. In fact, you can see like my branding, like LoanDepot's backwards. Mm-hmm. Because the camera's inverted, and so it's
right.
mirrored, like, and that's my first video, like, no cuts. I didn't do any editing, except I'm sorry, I did some graphics and overlays because I taught myself some stuff, but it was like I didn't edit, like I didn't jump cut or anything in my conversation. Like it was just one like 3 minutes of me like ranting.
Yeah,
that was the video.
No transitions, no After Effects.
No,
right.
And everyone, like, this is what's crazy is, I put out 100 pieces of content in 100 days, and I'm very like, I have self-awareness. I know people weren't like, oh my God, thank the Lord, Alec's video's up today. Like, let me stop what I'm doing and watch this.
Right.
Like, people just scroll by it all day long. I had some people that watched some, but like, it wasn't about the actual content. Like I hoped people heard it. I wanted people to hear the messaging of that day. But I also recognize that, like, I'm not all important. I don't matter that much in the scheme of the whole world. And so I just gave myself that grace of, like, how many people make a video and expect it, like, I didn't get 200 likes. Like, oh, it must not be any good. And I'm like, you got 200 views, you idiot.
Yeah. Imagine standing on stage in a room with 200 people.
Yeah, dude, I tell the story all the time. I had a really good friend who was like, yeah, I put the video out and I got like 3 comments and didn't seem much engaging. And I don't know about this thing. And I like looked it up and I'm like, 262 views, dude. Like, I'm in his backyard drinking a bourbon. I'm like, can I put 260 people back here right now? Like, what that would be like? It's unbelievable. The audience is like right there.
Right. Yeah. It's mind boggling. And I do this too. I think we all do this. We focus on the wrong metrics.
Yes.
And they're just they're at a minimum incomplete. Mm-hmm. But they're usually just totally wrong. Like, we'll look at it completely wrong. And that's so common. So you're right. Like, if you get 75 people to see your first video, imagine standing on a stage in a room with 75 people who are all looking at you.
Yeah.
That's meaningful.
It's powerful. And people just judge themselves too harshly. And it's like, now, it didn't get viral and all that BS. And I'm like, you don't understand. And it's not just about the video that you make. Like, kind of how I referenced before, like, it'll change you. You'll become better at speaking. You'll become better at coming up with your thoughts at the spur of the moment. There's so many intangible skills that get developed through this kind of practice that it's like, how can you not? Like, just put the reps in.
Right. And people are afraid of screwing up. They're afraid of doing it wrong. They're afraid of looking like an idiot. They're afraid of losing their train of thought. They're afraid of, like some blooper happening.
Which, by the way, all that stuff actually makes your video better.
Yes.
All that
yes,
stuff,
it does.
Like, your humanity makes the video better. When people hire, like, I'm seeing this trend, which is started last year and it's more now, where everyone's hiring these really great social media agencies to make really polished pieces of content. And I believe those have a place, but you're also a commercial at that point, and you're losing your humanity. Like, everyone knows you're scripted. And everyone knows, like, this what you're delivering is a puff piece, right? And so when there's no humanity, that's why people love podcasts, because there's just humanity here.
You're absolutely right. Like, there's those that think it has to be so perfectly scripted and edited, and there's no squirrel moments. There's no But you're right. Like, but we forget too, the bloopers, like you should be taking all of those and publishing those like on purpose, because we've been watching blooper reels for decades.
I always joke, like your most popular video is likely going to be your blooper reel.
Yes.
Because that someone's finally like, oh, look, there's a real person who screws up, and all that connection happens right there.
Yes. I was just about to ask why you thought that is, but exactly. You're relatable.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
98% of the people who are watching or listening to you, they're not marketers. And so they know, like, they've never done a video or never will. And they're like, oh my God, like he just lost his train of thought, or he just stumbled, or his voice cracked or something. Man, that would probably happen to me if I were to do that. And that's why I don't do it. So it's so relatable. Like that's why in this podcast, I don't edit out squirrel moments and, I'll lose my train of thought or whatever. But that's the stuff people remember.
Yep.
If you don't have that, it's just, like you said, it's just a puff piece. It's just like, Stone Phillips on the evening
billboard,
news.
like everyone's like, I've seen this show before. I buy technology to skip this crap.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I want to see it from you? It's like, just be human, like hang out with me. Tell me what's really going on or what you really care about, and put it in words that I can understand. And all of a sudden now you got something special there. Right.
Otherwise you get stuck in their internal ad blocker.
Oh, dude, for sure. It just kicks in going, no.
Yep.
That's why people love Instagram stories and reality TV and all that, because you get that behind the scenes feel of like realness.
Look at some of the biggest stars of today. I mean, not like I pay close attention, to be totally honest, but I know that Will Smith has become he's a big superstar again. Well, why is that? It's not because of a bunch of new movies.
No.
It's because of TikTok.
100%, dude.
And Instagram, but TikTok for sure. And that's why you see all these big celebrities that are now not doing the big polished interviews. They're now just recording themselves on a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or on TikTok, just being themselves, showing their life. Yeah. And boom, their popularity goes through the roof.
Through the roof.
Weird.
So weird. It's like we could learn something from this.
It's almost like there's parallels there. It really does seem that way. Okay, so for those that are like, guys, just shut the hell up and tell me what to do and how to do it. Yes. What should they do? Okay.
I love those people.
Yes.
So you have the perfect recording device in your hand. The phone's amazing. It's got 4K cameras. Like it's perfect.
Yes.
Right. You don't need any of this crap. Just get a stand and a $10 light, like gooseneck light from Amazon that you can put, by your phone on your face, and just start producing content. And the next question everyone goes is, well, what kind of content should I do? Or I'm stuck because I don't know what to say or what piece. And I'm like, there's a million things to do. Like I was talking to agents the other day on a Zoom call like this. And I'm like, how many times do you answer the exact same question to people that you're working with? Like, yes. And there's like so many, you have a list, like in mortgage, we have a list of the same commonly asked questions that are always asked. Or just go to Google and be like, what are the most common real estate questions being asked right now? And Google will like give you 20 topics.
Mm-hmm.
So just start having a conversation with your digital community about what's going on, and tie it back to what you're passionate about. Like, please, God, like, please be about what you care about. Like, that's all. Like, if you care about it and it's a relevant, current topic, you'll find the audience sucks in. If you're just regurgitating, like in my industry, I always joke because like debt to income is like a big deal, right? It could determine if you can get a loan or not. But it's the most boring thing ever, like debt to income ratio, like just snoozer. But it's important, like how much can you afford is tied into that number. Like what kind of a house can you go buy is tied into that number.
Yes.
But you got to tie your passion about helping people get into homes into that conversation, and then DTI will actually matter. If you just go, like, if you just read what debt to income ratio is from like the underwriting playbook, no one cares.
Yeah. I've seen very little content about the DTI actually, because, one thing we all know is, well, it's also a very incomplete metric. Like it doesn't take into account. It doesn't mean that's every bill that you have each month. That's just like what's measurable on your credit report.
And we can also emit things and blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the joke is like, there's so much content in the world. It's insane.
Yep.
If you're using that as a little excuse to stop doing video, like we can debunk that in 30 seconds. Like there's millions of things to talk about.
Well, but Alec, there's already 3 agents in my area that are doing video so well. Why would I do it?
Exactly. Because so number one, you're let them beat you, which is a different thing. But like they're not you.
Yep.
And see, everyone forgets this, and they always try to like pretend like that they don't matter. And the irony is that they matter tremendously. Like how you think and how you view the world and how you would educate and consult a customer is absolutely unique, because you're your own person. So how you, like, I love personality profile tests. You know, those tests that tell you like what bucket you fall in. Like I think
DISC
my wife
and all
says,
that.
like I'm an Enneagram, like 3, wing 4, or whatever that means. And like, it's great, whatever. But like my audience connects to me because of my style, my energy, my word choice, you know. But there's so many different audiences that like an engineer and someone who's very analytical and detail oriented does not connect to me. Because they're like, dude, you never slow down, man. You make too many mistakes. You're going up. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And so all of a sudden, someone with that kind of a mind gets out and starts sharing about real estate, about the houses, about appreciation, getting into the numbers and the meat. And all of a sudden they realize, oh, there's a whole audience that cares about that stuff too.
Right.
And
exactly.
that's their opportunity as an agent. Even though Timmy and Billy are doing, you know, tons of videos, it doesn't matter because they have their own audience too.
I understand why people say that, but it's such bullshit.
Yes.
If that was the same concept, you know, everyone would buy their clothes at Walmart because they're cheaper. Yeah. Well, no, what if you don't want to buy clothes at Walmart? You want to go to Nordstrom or, you know, wherever the hell. You know, not everyone eats at the same restaurant. Do you have people who like you? Do you have friends?
That's the best one.
Are there people in your life that like you?
By the way, that's also the number one reason, like people, another big reason people stay off video is they say, I don't like how I look and sound.
Which is weird because
you have friends. Do they like see you every day? Do they like you? Do they hang out with you? Like clearly you're not terrible. Like you're not a troll.
Yeah.
Clearly they're going to hang. It's just crazy.
I have a wild theory about that. I believe, conspiracy theory for the day.
I'm ready.
I believe that you may actually look that way in real life too.
That's wild, man. I don't know what the video shows you.
You may actually look like that if someone saw you in person as well, unlike your glamour shot from 1983 on your business card. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I've had all those same objections. I really did. And I've been saying this for weeks now. I've got to go back and find one of the first videos I did for YouTube. So bad. I was reading a script off here. So like I was looking over here. Yeah. It was bad. But you can't learn how to improve on something if there's nothing to improve on.
Yeah. If you're not playing, you'll never get better.
Yes.
And that's where this thing also compounds. And that's what I hope people hear. It's like your first 10 videos don't do anything. They're not going to do anything. Like that's part of the process. It's part of the journey. But like your 100th and 10th is probably going to be doing some work for you.
Yes.
And I would never be like, my goal after the 100 videos, just to give you and everyone who's listening an example of how this thing compounds. After the 100 videos, I was like, okay, that was too hard of work. And see, that's just funny. Actually, the 100 videos was harder work than what I do now. And right now I'm averaging like 15 to 20 pieces of content a day coming out across 4 platforms. And the 100 videos is actually harder work than this. Because what's happening now is I was going to go into a podcast because I took some inspiration from you and other people that have been leaning into the space. And I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. And my goal was one a month. That was my goal for 2020. And now I've been doing one a week live.
Nice.
Because the momentum builds. And that's what's crazy about this is that it just keeps the opportunities keep opening the more you lean into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really, the one thing that I wish we could just reach out and smack you to get you to understand is you just have to start doing it. And don't overthink the topic. I do think the topic, tell me if you agree or not, I think the topic's the most important thing. The production quality is like way down the list. I think the topic, the subject is what matters the most. Yes?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you care about it, as long as the person delivering it is passionate about it, That's all that matters. I mean, what's that one, like conviction sells, conviction closes? Like if you have conviction, if you have passion about what you're talking about, you could be in a dark room with a crappy camera but if you're like coming at it, then like people are going to pay attention.
Absolutely.
And they're going to listen, and they're going to try to see what's going on and why is this person so pumped on this topic? Why do I need to know this?
Right. No, I think that's excellent. So not just the topic, but how the topic is delivered. So you've got to have energy. You have to actually have some authority. You actually have to have some, not compassion, some, you just said it, the C word you just said. Conviction. Yes. Conviction. And that is what will get people to watch. It's not, do you have these crazy edits and transitions and sound effects and, like you don't need a glitch effects. You don't need any of that shit. Just record a video. And if you pick a topic that someone actually cares about, and if you don't know what that is, what gets your attention when you are scrolling your news feed? What makes you stop? What is it?
Exactly. You hear a lot like how much is too much, how often should I be posting, and what when they feel people are finally getting their toe in the water, and they're like, oh, I get so annoyed with everybody, these guys who post every day, multiple times a day. And I'm like, well, don't be like them then. Like, why would you be like the person who's annoying you?
Right.
Who's not annoying you? Go. Who are you enjoying? To your comment, Dustin. Like, what do you like on social media?
Yes.
Go emulate that.
Yeah. And I come from a place where I believe it should not be real estate or mortgage related. 90% of the time, literally 9 out of 10 times, make it about your community, make it about the best sushi restaurants, the new food truck, the new splash pad that just opened, help your community navigate this craziness with our schools opening up. If so, what do they look like? Is this place open? Is this place open? Like, help people navigate that because they're searching for it. Yep. They're all searching for it. I'm going to San Diego in a couple weeks, and I'm like, I hope the beach is actually open. So I researched it, and I found some content that had all the stuff that was open and why. And, so there's just so much room for you to be that, to provide that type of content. So, but don't talk about crap you don't care about.
Yes. 1,000%.
There's so much. If you love barbecue, talk about barbecue places.
I always use this example. There's a guy that works with us up in Seattle, and he has for years played in these adult baseball leagues, like adult men's baseball, like where they have seasons every year. They draft and different people on the team, and it's highly competitive. These guys care a lot about this. So he starts a podcast called The Comebacker about adult men's baseball leagues. And he's bringing on, the refs and the coaches and the other players, and they're just having conversations about something they love, that they all love. And I'm like, dude, how's this affecting your business? And he's like, my business is blowing up. Everyone knows I do loans. I don't have to make a commercial about it. But yet, as I build community, I get opportunity from this. And I'm like, it's that easy, dude. It's that easy. Do what you love.
It really is that easy. Just stumble your way through it.
But I do have tips and tricks for to help people get off their ass, right? Because there are some basics.
Sure.
So if somebody's super motivated right now, Dustin, and they're like, "Yep, I'm in. I got stuff I care about. I got things I got to get my voice out, my face out." There's some basics, right? So basic number one is make sure people can see your face. Please, I want to see if you're on video, I want to see your face. So put lighting on, put the camera angle at eye level or above, so I'm not looking up your nose, and then once you're there with light and kind of angle, just start filming and putting out content. And that's all you need to do. Don't edit, don't put music behind it, don't do graphics. If that stuff makes you happy, and because there's some I did it. And so if there's but I nerd out on that stuff. So if it makes you happy, do it. But don't feel like if I don't do it, then my stuff's going to suck.
Right.
Absolutely
yes. Not. I think there's a big difference too between, are you just starting with getting some video out there and you're going to put it on Facebook and on Instagram and on LinkedIn or whatever, and having a full-on YouTube strategy?
Yes.
That's a different level, a level I have not embarked on quite yet that I'm working on, because that does require a lot more considerations with keywords and thumbnails and tags and, all that stuff. But it doesn't need to be that. So if you've been thinking you've got to be doing what your favorite YouTuber does or nothing at all, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Just record a video, upload it natively to Facebook or LinkedIn. What are some of the places you like to put your videos, Alec? Where once you have a video, what do you do with them that gets you the most traction?
You know, you have to put your content out where you're involved. So like on Facebook, there's lots of people who are like Facebook stalkers, right? Like they just creep on Facebook and they don't contribute. They're not in any conversations. They don't even like and comment. Like they're just kind of there looking. They're
Yes.
voyeurs. So you can put your content out there, but if you're a voyeur, it's not going to pay dividends. So wherever you're going to play, you got to play. Like if you're going to pick a platform, then you need to be out engaging, commenting, building digital community, sharing experiences, commenting on other people's experiences. And then as you play your own content comes out, and the reciprocation in the conversation is crazy. And that's where the big wins come from. But if you got to play both sides, everyone thinks content producing and video production, it's like a two-way street. You have to go, you can talk and have a video. That's great. Share what your life's passion is. But then you got to stop and realize it's not all about you and go to other people and start engaging and commenting and being with them digitally. That's the two-way street.
Yes. I think that's a very fair point, a very important point. And you also need to promote the content you do. You can't just post it and expect that, magical things happen.
Your day.
Yeah. Now, it could, it depends on the topic, right?
Sure.
If you get the topic right, that's the heavy lifting right there. You can have a lot of success just by picking a great topic that gets people's attention. But if you also learn where to put the stuff, like learn how to use Facebook groups, depending on the video, you may run a Facebook ad, put $20 behind it and get more people in your community to see it. There's so many things you can do with it after the fact, but like any content, do it and then promote it. You've got to get people to know it exists. And just like you said, being engaged in the community and being active and commenting on other people's stuff,
yep.
That's a great way to do it, because then they're like, oh, Alec, like apparently he knows a thing or two about this too. I wonder what he does. And then they look at your profile and they're like, oh, here's a video. Yep. Oh, he's in loans or he's in real estate.
Exactly.
It's funny how the things that we do, we somehow think others don't do also. Like that's how we discover contractors, or like we just had a contractor build a pergola, and that's the process we went through. Like they're active on Instagram and they were doing these videos where they were showing like how they build a deck and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, they sound like they know what they're talking about. Yep. And read some reviews, went down their rabbit hole, and hired them.
But dude, that's what everyone's doing when they pick an agent or a mortgage professional.
Yes.
They do the same thing.
Same thing.
They look for social proof. They look for people up online. They Google everybody. They look for their brand. They try to understand who they are. Of course they do. Of course we all do.
Yeah. I love, this just cracks me up so much when there's agents out there that go to a listing presentation and they attempt to sell themselves as the best choice for the seller because they're a marketing genius. They will get more exposure for the home than anybody else.
Yes.
And they don't know how to do online marketing. And they don't do videos. They don't do anything to actually get exposure aside from running a Facebook ad every now and then.
Oh my God.
That's always funny to me. So
dude,
you're not going to trick consumers. If you tell them you're so great, they're going to go look you up. And if they don't see anything from you,
they only going to know.
then they know you're a liar.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
You just lost any chance of doing any business with that person.
Yes, exactly. So what's next for you with video? Do you have any projects coming up, or are you just figuring out how to get more traction, get more reach with the content you're currently doing, or,
Well, I'm on like a mission from the Lord, because, and you have to, my people, the local mortgage professional,
your people,
that's my people. It's the local mortgage guy or gal, right? Like who's just down the street, walking into open houses, like, hey, you need waters and cookies, and like, can I get a loan? Like that's my people. And they're so screwed because the customer has gone digital, because we've all gone digital, and they don't exist there. right? Like they exist behind the local realtor, who's just, who's their buddy, who they've worked with for decades. And that's where they exist. They exist behind the realtor, and they're functionally invisible. And they're going to get crushed by a customer who is going to, I do this, like, I do a lot of speaking to a lot of mortgage professionals. And one of the questions I always ask is, how, as a percentage, when you get referred a customer by your great realtor partner, how many of those customers as a percentage have a pre-qual or a rate quote from somebody else before they get referred to you? Dude, the answer is getting up into like the 80s, because customers are starting online. Yep. And they're pushing buttons online, and they have questions, and they're engaging, and they're getting information, whether it's good or bad. They're getting information. They're starting processes, and by the time they choose a realtor and then get referred to a loan guy to go, they've already done a ton of work. So the local mortgage pro is effectively screwed unless they can figure out how to play the digital game, which is free and amazing, and like this space is wide open. And you can compete against Super Bowl commercials because you can be in somebody's digital life every single day.
That's a good point. Yeah. And you could do one video, a 90-second video that's free that you did spur of the moment that gets 10,000 views.
Yeah. You never know. Like, I have a guy that works with me in Vegas. He did a video that went viral, and he's gotten millions of views on it because he was like walking the streets of Vegas during COVID, which totally shut down, talking about his town, that talking about his city and where they're going to go. Nothing about mortgages. And
Crazy.
you never know. But if you're not playing, you'll never get the chance.
Yes. So any last objections that you hear quite a bit from people that are like, you sold me, but I just can't do it myself. Like, I just personally can't do it. It's not for me. How do we help these people?
Sadly, it's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they figured out how to drive a car. They figured out how to use an iPhone or an Android. Like, they can figure out this stuff. So yes. Like when people say they're technically limited, I'm like, no, you're not. You drive around a car. Like, that's thing, you could kill someone with that thing. Like, you're not technically limited.
They're using a phone. They're using a laptop.
They're using a phone all the time. You're not technically limited. It is a new skill. And once you learn it, you become more comfortable in it. But, you got to kind of go back into that mind frame. So sadly, the biggest hindrance from anybody is not the excuses, it's their fear. And they have fear wrapped around something. It's either an insecurity as a kid or insecurity, like it's some kind of demon or fear that is just right. It's holding them back. And it's the same fear that held them back from everything in life. And they got to figure out, like we did, because like, I'm not anybody special. Like, I'm the first to say it. Like, I have nothing special about me. I just figured out how to deal with the fear. And like, I'm sure you went through the same process yourself on how to deal with the fear.
Yep.
And as soon as you figure that out, everyone's got to go through that path themselves, right? You can tell people and push people and encourage people and show them the actual buttons to push. But like, I can't put you on camera and make you talk.
Right.
So I can do everything else for you. And I've done that for people. I've set up studios and put everything. And I'm like, okay, now go. And it's like, no, wait. Like, it's the fear. But on the other side of that is all this opportunity. It's incredible. And I usually push people like, on your first video, I want you to come out and just admit right away on the video that you're uncomfortable, that this is making you like a little nervous, that you're afraid if you have that kind of guts, but you just have something you got to really share with everybody because it's important to you. And
love that.
Sometimes you just got to admit it and like put it out there and tell the world like, hey, this is making me really uncomfortable, but I got to share this about this because it matters.
Yes. That's so powerful, because when you do that, automatically they're going to judge you less. Like, they're going to give you grace. They're going to give you a break just because you said, I'm nervous. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. I mean, there's two tricks here. Like, the first trick is once you get somebody going and they actually put out content, they get a ton of positive reinforcement every time. It's proven science.
Yes.
You do one video, and even if you say you're nervous or whatever and you put it out there, you get tons of positive feedback. It's what happens after the positive feedback goes away.
Yes.
Because now your videos aren't novel anymore. And they're like, oh, he's going to keep doing them.
Yeah.
And then it's like the second push is required. But it's like sometimes it's just getting people off the first push is enough. So that's really my purpose with my video right now is just I got a community of people who are really smart, talented, helpful professionals. And I'm bent on pushing them to get a chance to talk to the consumer because they're getting left behind. So if I can get a couple more people to push out and play in this space, whether it's podcasting or video or whatever it is digitally, then I feel like I'm doing my part in this specific, because this time period right now, Dustin, like this is gonna be a thing that goes away. Like everyone's gonna be so on video forever now. Like it's going.
Right.
Like our kids are there. Like my kids, like we were just joking before this, like my kids have 4-hour Zoom school coming up.
Ugh.
Like they're going to be on video. They're going to be so used to video. It's just going to be part of what their life is. Like they FaceTime now. And it's like, it's normal. Like they don't know how to handle the phone when it's not FaceTime.
Right.
So they're going to be fine. It's just the current group that we're all trying to battle for and like realize we got to step into this space is kind of the mission right now.
Yes. COVID just sped up trends that were already happening. It made everyone go virtual instantly. And, some were better suited, better prepared than others. It just sped up the trends that were already happening. So you're right.
For it in that regard, because we needed it, or else people
Totally.
wouldn't have moved. People would have stayed doing the same thing they've always done and watched their business evaporate around them. So I'm thankful for the push it gave everybody. No doubt.
Absolutely. And last thing before we get into the rapid fire questions, I still don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I look on video. Like, and I don't know any content creator, especially the big successful ones that are like, man, I love seeing myself on camera. I love being on stage. I love the way that I sound on my podcast. I don't know anyone that does, but we do it anyways.
Yes.
That's literally the main thing that separates those that from those that never do anything and quit and have no success, and those that do. It's, are you going to just do it anyways?
Yep.
I don't know any other way to put it. It's because even though I'm not nervous in front of the camera and I can easily just do it like this, I still don't like it. It's not like, yes, I get to do another video today. But I just do it anyways.
Yeah, I think that for me personally, after all the video content in the last year that I've worked hard on, it's become much more enjoyable. Like I was super looking forward to just hanging out with you on this call today because it's more enjoyable. I like this stuff now. Like I've kind of come through all the bullshit, and now it's kind of like, no, this is super fun. Like. And now I get to geek out and like get new lighting and get new mic and be like, I got a new mic. I'm so excited. Like I'm the stupidest stuff ever. But like, it's because now it's the crappy stuff's in the rearview mirror.
Right. Yeah. The hardest thing is just starting. Yes. It really is.
100%. 100%.
All right, my friend. To be a good steward of your time, let's wrap it up with the rapid fire questions. Appreciate you dropping all that great knowledge, because video is just so powerful on so many levels. Crazy. And having a YouTube strategy is very different from what we're talking about. I mean, that's part of it, obviously, but it doesn't have to be that complex. It does not have to be that time consuming. You don't need all that equipment. So just start doing it. Pick some topics that interest you. Pick some topics that that get you to stop your scroll.
Yeah.
Nostalgia about your area,
totally.
It could be anything. So cool. All right. So we do the rapid fire questions. You pick either or, one or the other. You don't need to elaborate unless you choose to. We'll blow through them. And then I have a couple open-ended questions for you at the end, and we'll wrap it up.
Okay. Rock on.
Facebook or Instagram?
TikTok. No, okay. Facebook.
Instagram or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Facebook or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Okay. LinkedIn or TikTok?
My reach on LinkedIn's insane, dude. Like I got a permission to go live a while back. I was like one of the first early guys to go live on LinkedIn.
Oh, you bastard.
And
I've been waiting for mine.
Dude, I love the professional community. I like it. Like I like being with those people.
Yeah. Well, LinkedIn's super powerful. We had Judy Fox on a couple weeks ago. Yeah. LinkedIn is incredible. Books or podcasts?
Podcasts.
Podcasts or audiobooks?
Audiobooks.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Alexa or Google Home?
Alexa.
Burgers or pizza?
Pizza all day. All day. Get out of here with your burgers.
New York or LA?
I'm from SoCal, so I got to say LA. Even though I don't even
have
like
to.
either of them.
I know. Yeah, LA, man. And
I just don't like driving. Oh, God, big cities. I have like a panic attack.
If it's Manhattan, ideal. I love Manhattan so much, but I hate LA. So clear this up. For those that aren't from the LA area, okay, we all think LA and Orange County are the same thing.
Oh my God, it's so good.
They're not, are they?
No, I'm right between San Diego and LA.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm an hour from LA and I'm an hour from San Diego.
Okay.
So yeah, we get that a lot.
Perfect.
Like Orange County, you're in LA. You're like, no, it's so far away from me. Like I have to drive an hour to get to LA.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So are you South Orange County?
Technically, I think I'm closer to North Orange County. I'm kind of in the middle.
Where are
in a
you?
city called Costa Mesa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right next to Newport?
Yeah.
Sweet. I went to Newport Beach on my senior trip and got arrested for 10 minutes. And then they dropped me off at my hotel because I was just the punk out of town kid.
I grew up in Newport, dude. We can have stories. I know where all the dead bodies are in Newport Beach.
Such a cool place. So, speaking of which, did you ever see that listing video by Tim Smith?
Of course. Tim's listing my dad's house right now.
Really?
Yeah.
He is a master, dude. He does the best listing videos ever that teach me how to Duffy.
So it's so funny, dude. You have to remember. So in 2003, when I started in this business, I originated loans here in Orange County. So like I met Tim when I was 23 walking around. He was nobody. He was like a junior realtor.
Yeah.
So like, and some of the realtors that I hit on are still doing real estate. So like, I know all of them because I spent every weekend and all the time with these agents. So Tim's a great guy and he's crushing right now. Absolutely crushing.
I don't know the guy. I've just seen his videos. Like I went down his YouTube rabbit hole and like, I'm a fan. He does some really elaborate, awesome videos.
Dude, he's a great agent.
Awesome. All right. Mountains or beach?
Beach.
NFL or NBA?
No, NBA.
Basketball or baseball?
Basketball.
Podcasting or vlogging?
Oh, I mean, if you vlog, it could so easily be a podcast.
True.
Because like what we're doing right now is effectively vlogging, like we're on Zoom together, right? But you're going to strip the audio, aren't you? And pull it and podcast it.
Right.
So it's almost like if you do the vlog, you got optionality. So I'm going to go with vlog.
Fair enough. I like that. YouTube or Facebook Live?
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live or LinkedIn Live?
LinkedIn Live.
Uber or Lyft?
Uber.
Let's see. John Wayne or LAX?
Oh my God, it's not even a question, bro. If you ever flown into John Wayne Airport, it's incredible. It's a gift from the Lord.
That's in Irvine,
LA
right?
is a disaster.
Yeah. Oh, LAX is the worst airport on the planet.
Oh, it's so bad. Every time I have to do it, because like I have some offices now in Hawaii, and so that's the only thing that's the only way I could get there.
Nice.
I'm always like, can I just fly out of San Francisco? Like I'm so mad. I hate it.
Right. Oh, and so John Wayne's the one in Irvine.
It's in Santa Ana, but it's
Santa Ana.
It's Orange County. It's literally planes fly over my house.
Yes.
How
Okay.
close I am to it.
And that is one of the coolest airports ever. It's so chill. And that, even pre-COVID, it was chill.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Garyvee or Grant Cardone?
Garyvee all day.
Good call.
I just think he comes across more authentic to me.
Oh, totally. I think Grant Cardone's pretty authentic. I just don't like who he is authentically, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Fair.
I just think he's authentically a douchebag, but that's me. Right?
I mean, yeah, someone had to say it.
Oh, there's lots of people saying it, but I'll put that on my shoulders. I'll take that. All right. What's the most impactful book you've ever read or listened to?
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Is that Dale Carnegie?
Yeah. I mean, it's been around forever. And I think I read it like when I was just starting sales. So it was like formative for me. And when I was getting into sales, and then it's got so many truths in it for a podcaster, for someone doing video, for creating human connection. I love learning through stories. And then the second book, I'll throw two at you, is another like basic, stupid, silly book called Who Moved My Cheese?
That's a great one.
I love it because right now when I lead a bunch of leaders, and being adaptable is like such a core trait that I look for in other leaders. Like your ability to be like, here's a problem, let's go fix it, not get stuck and like, panic. Or like, I love being able to call my manager and be like, I'm going to move your cheese, and watching him go, let's rock and roll. Like,
Love it.
Where are we going? What's going to happen? So like, I love that book for just the analogy of it all.
And it couldn't be more relevant than, February 2020.
Yeah.
When the world took
digital.
a shit.
Dude, I remember driving to Best Buy, and like, I wish you could see my rig set up here. Like because I knew we were going close. I knew we were closing. I knew COVID was coming. So I drove to Best Buy. I feel like I haven't been to Best Buy since I was like in college.
Right.
And I just was like, I pulled the shopping cart out. I'm like, rack it up, boys. Like, I need the computer in it, the speakers, the monitor, the lights. And I was just like, somebody like was, who is this idiot buying everything? I'm like, because I'm building this. I'm going home, dude. I'm building it here.
That's right. Well, everyone else is out stocking up on toilet paper.
Toilet paper, dude. Mistake.
Yeah. Last one. What's one app recommendation? Are there any apps that you are loving right now?
I nerd out on this app. I found it. It helped me get through my 100 videos. It's called Vlog Easy.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, I love it so much because it does a couple cool things that I think are just so helpful. Number one, it automatically creates jump cuts on your video. So you set it up and it only records you while you're talking. So you could say a sentence, and then if you had to collect your thoughts, you can just stare off in the distance, and then you can start speaking again. And then when it's done, it cuts out all the dead space. So it really helps people that just need a second to like recollect their thoughts before they say their next sentence. It makes your videos look crisp because it's cutting out the dead space. And then at the end, you can actually use like the plus sign, and you can type in any sentence or word you want, and it'll pull up every TV show or movie that has that sentence or clip, and you can drop it into your video.
Oh, nice. So I've noticed that in your videos.
So it's straight up from the stupid app, right? I didn't do anything but just recorded on my phone, and it's jump cutting the edits so I sound crisper, and then I can drop in movie clips. And I'm such a dork that I love that stuff. I'm like, I rickrolled people like 6 times. Like I loved it. And it just it ups the game. And it was relatively inexpensive for for a full editing software like that. I think it's a fantastic tool.
What is it? Like $80, $100?
No, I think it was like $150 for like a lifetime, deal. But I was like, I plan to make a lot of videos. So, I use it all the time. Because when you're out on the go and like you want to make sure your videos edit and, this thing's amazing. It sits on your phone, it crushes. And then you can put movie clips in with nothing.
There's so many people that have this mental block with the cost of an app because they're like, it's just an app. Why would I spend $150 on an app? Well, because it's software, just like QuickBooks or Office or, any of this crap that you'd have to get every single year. Why not just get this? And it's always updating for you. So you never have to like get new versions like software.
Yeah. Look, people that balk and say that's expensive, they have no clue what Photoshop in that world runs you if you want to go all in on editing.
Yep.
So, for me, for time management and just ease of life, I was like, this is a no-brainer app.
Totally. Yeah. For what I pay, 3 months of my Adobe Creative Cloud, I pay like $56 a month for Creative Cloud. Yeah. You could just have that app.
Yeah. Look, live your best life, but I love that crap. It's editing for me and it's making my life easier. So it's worth every cent.
Yeah. I'm regretting the Creative Cloud membership, to be honest. Cool, man. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing such amazing wisdom. And for anyone who doesn't know you or wants to see these 100 videos in 100 days, where can they find those? Where can they find out more about you and follow you?
So AlecHanson.com's got all my stuff. But then Dustin, like you said before, like YouTube is my library.
Yes.
YouTube is where all my stuff's stored. I have the playlist of 100 videos. I have my Modern Lending podcast playlist there. I have my live time with Alec every Tuesday, playlist there. And so that's absolutely my library.
Perfect. Sweet. AlecHansen.com. AlecHansen. Yes.
O-N.
O-N.
Yeah. Good.
Should have had you do it. I should have had you do it. There we go. Alec, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Talk soon.
See you, buddy.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope that was inspiring to you, as inspiring to you as it was to me. Alec is just crushing video, and he's doing it because he keeps it simple, and he's authentic, and he's himself. And if you do the same thing, you can absolutely see a crap load of success in your own right. You just have to do it. You just have to start. So there's my call to action for this week. Do it. Start recording some video today. Record one. And if it's absolutely garbage and you're like, this is terrible, delete it and record another one. But it starts with the first one. Okay, it starts with the first one. And lastly, I want to thank all of you who have subscribed to the podcast. If you have not yet, click subscribe in whichever podcast player you're listening to this in. If it's Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts or Spotify or Overcast or Google Podcasts, Stitcher, whatever the hell, hit subscribe so that you don't have to remember every Thursday morning that there's a new episode of the show. You get a notification. I personally listen in Pocket Casts. I love Pocket Casts. If you're using Apple Podcasts, cool. Pocket Casts, better. It's better, and it's free. Either way, as long as you listen, as long as you subscribe, you're not only helping yourself out, because you'll get reminded that there's a new episode. You'll get a notification every time we drop a new episode every Thursday, but it also helps us. So please go subscribe, and if you have not yet, leave a review or a rating as well. To make that super simple, go to massiveagentpodcast.com/review, massiveagentpodcast.com/review. If you're on your mobile device, it takes you right to Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating and ideally leave a review and let us know what you like about the show. And that helps us out tremendously. If you do that and subscribe, you've done your part. You've paid your dues. Thank you very much for everyone who's already done it. And for you who's about to do it right now, right? Because it's the end of the episode. You're not going to miss anything. So just go do it. MassiveAgentPodcast.com/review. Click subscribe, leave a review, and we'll be back next week with another episode of the Massive Agent Podcast. This has been an Industry Syndicate production. Go to industrysyndicate.com or check out the Industry Syndicate app on the App Store or Google Play to find out what the other awesome podcasts are in the real estate and mortgage space. And we're doing some really cool stuff behind the scenes with the Industry Syndicate. We're going to be turning some heads in the near future. So don't sleep. Don't sleep on what we're doing. Pretty excited about it. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Go sell some homes. Go close some loans. Take care. See ya.